Hi, I'm Dr. Altaf, and today I want to talk about something that quietly affects millions of people every single day. It's 2 a.m. The house is completely still. You are exhausted, your body feels heavy, your eyes are burning, and yet your brain is wide awake. It's replaying a conversation from 3 years ago. It's running through tomorrow's to-do list. It's doing absolutely everything except letting you sleep. If that sounds familiar, I want you to hear something important before we go any further. You are not broken, and you are definitely not alone. Difficulty sleeping, especially as we get older, is one of the most common concerns I hear from patients. And what frustrates people most isn't just the tiredness, it's the helplessness, the feeling that your own body is working against you. Today, I want to change that. I'm going to walk you through 5 techniques that work with your nervous system, not against it. These are grounded in real research. I'll be honest with you about what the evidence shows and where some of these methods are still being studied, because you deserve accurate information, not just a confident-sounding list. Let's start with something that may surprise you: why sleep gets harder as we age, and why that's not the whole story. There's a common belief that as we age, we simply need less sleep. I want to address that directly because it's largely a myth. Most adults, regardless of age, still need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep for optimal health. What changes isn't the need. What changes is the architecture. As we get older, we produce less melatonin, the hormone your brain uses to signal that it's time to wind down. Our circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs sleep and waking, tends to shift earlier. We spend less time in deep, restorative, slow-wave sleep, and we're more easily disturbed by noise, light, temperature, and stress. On top of that, conditions that become more common with age, chronic pain, acid reflux, frequent urination, anxiety, medication side effects, can all fragment sleep in ways that have nothing to do with willpower or habits. So if you've been lying awake wondering what's wrong with you, the answer is probably nothing is wrong with you. Your biology has shifted, and the techniques I'm about to share are designed to work with that shifted biology. Technique 1, the 4-7-8 breath. Your nervous system's off switch. Let's begin with one of the simplest and most accessible tools available to you. It's free, it's always with you, and it can begin working in less than a minute. It's your breath. Now I know what you're thinking. You've been breathing for 70-something years. What could you possibly be doing differently? Here's the thing. Most of us, when we're anxious or wired, breathe short and fast, without realizing it. And that pattern of breathing keeps your nervous system in a state of alert. It signals to your brain something might be wrong. Stay vigilant. The 4-7-8 method works by reversing that signal. It was developed and popularized by Dr. Andrew Weil. And while large-scale clinical trials are still limited, the physiological logic is solid. When you make your exhale significantly longer than your inhale, you stimulate the vagus nerve. That triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and recover mode. Your heart rate slows, your muscles soften, the alarm bells quiet down. Here's how to do it. You can be sitting up or lying in bed. Place the tip of your tongue gently against the roof of your mouth, just behind your upper teeth. Keep it there throughout. Now follow this pattern. Exhale completely through your mouth. Then close your mouth and inhale quietly through your nose for a slow count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. Then exhale fully through your mouth for a count of 8. Let's try one round together right now. Close your mouth, inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now exhale slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice how your shoulders dropped a little during that exhale? That's exactly what we're going for. Do 4 full cycles of this when you get into bed. Most people notice a distinct slowing of their heart rate and a softening of tension by the end of the 4th breath. If you wake in the middle of the night, come back to this. It works at 3 a.m. just as well as it does at bedtime. Technique 2, progressive muscle relaxation, the body melt. This next technique is for anyone who knows what it feels like to lie down and still not be able to get comfortable. The pillow's too hot, your legs feel restless, your jaw is clenched, you're tired, but your body won't cooperate. What's happening is something most of us never notice. We carry tension in our muscles even when we think we're resting. The shoulders, the jaw, the hands, they hold the physical residue of the day. And until we release that tension deliberately, the body doesn't fully get the message that it's safe to let go. Progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR, is one of the most well-studied sleep interventions we have. The evidence here is genuinely strong. Multiple clinical trials have shown that regular PMR practice reduces the time it takes to fall asleep and improves overall sleep quality, particularly in people who experience anxiety-related insomnia. The technique is simple. You work through the body in sections, deliberately tensing each muscle group and then releasing it. The contrast between tension and release trains your nervous system to recognize and choose the relaxed state. Here's how to do it in bed. Start with your feet. Curl your toes downward firmly. Squeeze. Hold for 5 seconds, then release completely. Feel the warmth flood back in as the blood returns. Move up to your thighs. Squeeze your thigh muscles, press your knees together, tighten everything. Hold, then let your legs go completely heavy, like they're sinking into the mattress. Now your hands, make tight fists, tighten your forearms, hold, then open your fingers wide and let your hands fall open. Feel the warmth in your palms, your shoulders next. Pull them up toward your ears, really exaggerate the shrug, hold it, then let them drop completely away. Feel the space between your neck and the pillow. Finally, your face. Squeeze your eyes shut, wrinkle your nose, clench your jaw, hold, then let everything go. Let your jaw hang loose. Let your tongue rest softly on the floor of your mouth. Smooth out your forehead. By the time you've completed this head-to-toe scan, your body will feel noticeably heavier and warmer. That's not imagination. That's your muscles actually releasing. And a body that is genuinely relaxed is a body that can sleep. Technique 3. Cognitive shuffling. Scrambling the busy brain. Now let's tackle what is, for most people, the real enemy of sleep. The racing mind. You lie down, and suddenly, your brain decides it's the perfect time to review every concern, every unfinished thought, every awkward conversation from the last 6 months. Did I pay that bill? What did she mean by that tone? What if this pain gets worse? Here's the thing about telling your brain to stop thinking. It doesn't work. It's the classic, don't think of a pink elephant problem. The instruction backfires. What does work is giving your brain something else to do. Something boring, something random, something that gently nudges it away from the logical, planning, worrying mode and toward the fragmented, nonsensical thinking that naturally precedes sleep. This technique is called cognitive shuffling. It was developed by cognitive scientist Dr. Luc Beaulieu-Prévost, and while the research is still emerging, I want to be honest that we're in the early stages of formal study on this. The underlying logic is compelling, and many people find it genuinely helpful. Here's how it works. Pick a simple, emotionally neutral word. Let's say window. For each letter in the word, you think of objects or images that start with that letter, and you briefly picture each one for a few seconds, one at a time. W, whale. Picture a whale in the ocean. Watermelon. A green watermelon on a table. Wagon. An old wooden wagon. When you've exhausted your W images, move to I. Ice, iron, igloo. Then N, napkin, nest, needle. The images should be simple and random. Not narrative, not emotionally charged, no stories, just quiet, unrelated pictures drifting through your mind. What you're doing is simulating the hypnagogic state, the fragmented, dreamlike thinking that happens in the moments just before you fall asleep. You're essentially convincing the logical part of your brain that it's time to hand over to the dreaming part. If your mind wanders back to a worry, just notice it and gently return to your letters. Don't fight it, just redirect. Technique 4. The pre-sleep worry dump. Closing your mental tabs. This next technique is a preventative one. It happens before you get into bed. Think of your brain like a computer. When you've got 40 tabs open, the whole system slows down. It struggles to process anything properly because it's trying to keep too many things active at once. Most of us go to bed with all our mental tabs still open. There's a simple practice that can help close them, and it's backed by a genuinely interesting study from 2018, published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology. Researchers found that spending just 5 minutes writing a to-do list before bed, not a worry list, but a task list, helped people fall asleep significantly faster compared to journaling about things they'd already completed. The act of writing down what you need to do tells your brain, it's documented. I don't have to hold on to this. I can let it go for the night. Here's how I'd suggest doing it. About 30 minutes before bed, sit down somewhere quiet with a notebook. Write down the things that are on your mind, the loose ends, the concerns, the things you're afraid of forgetting. And next to each one, write the very next concrete step. Not fix the car. Just call the mechanic tomorrow morning. Not figure out the finances. Just look at the account statement after breakfast. Once you've assigned a next step, your brain can release its grip on that item. It doesn't need to keep rehearsing it all night. Close the notebook, put the pen down, and tell yourself, genuinely, that the working day is over. Technique 5. The military method. A fascinating 2-minute protocol. This last technique has an interesting origin story. It was described in a 1981 book called Relax and Win by Lloyd Bud Winter, based on training methods supposedly used by U.S. Navy pre-flight school pilots in World War II to help them sleep under stress. The claim that it works in 2 minutes for nearly everyone is almost certainly an exaggeration of what the actual evidence supports. There are no peer-reviewed trials on this specific protocol. But here's why I'm including it anyway. The underlying components are all individually evidence-based. Body scanning, muscle release, visualization, and thought blocking are all established techniques. The military method is essentially a structured combination of them, and many people find that structure helpful, especially those who do better with a clear sequence to follow. Here's the sequence. Begin with your face. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Consciously relax every muscle in your face. Your forehead, your jaw, the space behind your eyes, your tongue. Facial relaxation has an outsized effect on the rest of the body. The face carries enormous tension. Next, drop your shoulders. Let them fall as low as they can go. Release your arms. Let your hands rest open, palms up, at your sides. Now exhale slowly and let your chest relax. Then move down through your legs, thighs, calves, feet, letting each group go heavy and loose. Finally, give yourself 10 seconds of mental stillness. The method suggests holding one of two simple images: lying in a canoe on a perfectly calm lake, watching an empty blue sky, or lying in a dark velvet hammock in a completely dark room. If a thought intrudes, gently repeat to yourself, "Don't think, don't think, don't think." This isn't meditation. You're not trying to empty your mind entirely. You're just creating a pause long enough for sleep to arrive. With practice, this sequence can become a reliable ritual that signals to your body it's time now. Bonus, the temperature trick. One overlooked factor that changes everything. Before I wrap up, there's one more thing I want to mention, because even if you do all 5 of these techniques perfectly, this one overlooked factor can undermine all of them. Temperature. Your body needs to drop its core temperature by roughly 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit in order to initiate sleep. It's not optional, it's a biological requirement, and if your bedroom is too warm, that process gets blocked. The research consistently points to a bedroom temperature between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, as the optimal range for sleep. I know that sounds cold, and I know that as circulation changes with age, many people run cooler and feel more comfortable in a warmer room. Here's the solution. Keep the room cool, but stay warm under your covers. Wear socks if your feet tend to get cold. This actually helps. When your feet are warm, blood vessels in the skin dilate, which helps release your body's internal heat through your skin, cooling your core down more efficiently. Cool room, warm blankets. It sounds counterintuitive, but it works. Let me leave you with a simple framework for tonight. About 30 minutes before bed, do your worry dump. Write down your open items and give each one a next step. Close the notebook. Get into bed. If you feel physically tense, move through the PMR scan from feet to face. If your mind is busy, try the cognitive shuffling while you settle. When you're ready to sleep, do 4 cycles of the 4-7-8 breath. Then, if you want a structured sequence, move into the military method. Face, shoulders, arms, chest, legs, and then your still image. If you wake in the night, don't look at the clock. Go straight back to the breathing and give yourself some patience. These techniques work, but they work better over time, as your nervous system learns to recognize them as reliable cues for sleep. Most people notice real improvement within 1 to 2 weeks of consistent practice. One more thing, and I say this as a doctor who genuinely cares about your well-being. If you've been struggling with sleep for more than a few months, or if you're waking up exhausted despite getting adequate hours, please talk to your doctor. There are conditions like sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, and thyroid dysfunction that can disrupt sleep in ways no breathing technique will fix, and they're very treatable once identified. You don't have to just accept poor sleep as a fact of aging. Your body wants to sleep, we're just reminding it how. If this video was helpful to you, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. I put a lot of care into making sure everything I share here is accurate, nuanced, and actually useful, not just good sounding. If that's the kind of health content you're looking for, I think you'll find a lot of value here. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope today is a good day. Take care of yourselves.